Welcome, welcome everybody. It's a fresh episode here of Sang Lucci TV. I got Kenny with me, who seems a little somber here. I can't figure out what's going on with him.
Should I actually tell this story?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, if you guys don't know me and maybe you had some fun with me, I'm having that battle again with my addictions. So chances are I'm headed back into rehab for 3-4 weeks.
Damn, man, dude, you didn't even tell me before. Like, I didn't know. That's crazy, man. I mean, first of all, have you been before? You've been once before, and now you're going back.
Yeah, it didn't take.
It didn't.
I thought there was too much God involved, and I kind of rebelled against it. But
so what's the stone?
I'm going to a non-denomination rehab center now, where we don't talk about God. We actually just try to get better.
So what's the stone that overturned here, man? I mean, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I mean, well, there's no more SLTV right now. So what happened, bro? What happened?
A friend of mine walked into my room with a handful of coke, and I was just like, "Whoa, that's a lot of coke. I gotta help you finish that shit."
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. April fucking fools, everybody. Fucking losers. Did you actually believe? Did you actually believe him? Is my question. All right. So go ahead and send us a tweet and tell me if you actually believed Kenny Glick right there.
It was a good story, right?
That was a good story. That was a good story. Yo, and actually, before we kick this off, I have another story, man. And I would like to share with you one of the texts that my daughter sent me, right? She's on her mother's phone, right? And I'm telling her, hey, what's going on this weekend? We got a long weekend here. What are we going to do? And she goes, this is what she says to me, bro. She says, we don't have Good Friday off, dough. With D-O-E. So instead of writing though, she put D-O-E, bro. She put D-O-E.
Right.
Dough. And I'm like, dude, did you really just write that to me? And this is what she says. She says, hey, mommy, my mommy wanted the phone. It would have taken me too long to write though, so I wrote dough. 9 years old, bro. Can you fucking believe this shit? I ain't getting her a phone. I'm not getting her a phone, man. It ain't happening. It's not happening.
I know, my kid's salivating right now, ready to get his new iPhone 6. I grew up.
And you're going to buy him the best of the best. See, why is that always the mode of transportation? Right? When you got a car, when you got your first car, it was the shittiest car in the world. Right?
Yeah.
And now we have to buy them the best of the best. Right? Why can't we just get them a fucking flip phone? A shitty-ass flip phone. They're not even going to want to use it.
And you know what the thing is? He doesn't even use the data plan because within 13 minutes it's used up on this garbage plan that I have him on. So I always get banged out for an extra $20. You know what it is? Well, where I grew up, you didn't get new stuff until your old stuff was broken. Well, I grew up, I didn't really get stuff in general, but so it's like when I walk around the house, I point to everything. Whenever he's in a bad mood, I'm like, you got a lot of stuff here. Why don't you go revel in the fact that you get things?
Exactly.
Life's not so bad, kid.
Exactly. All right, guys. So let's talk markets. So first thing, let's get out of the way was the crazy futures activity overnight. I think right after 8 o'clock. It was right after 8 o'clock. From what I've been hearing, there's in the chat rooms everywhere, people are talking China news, some other bullshit. I thought it was like a big lot that went off at a certain price, and then boom, we just tanked right off that. But what I find more interesting is that we filled the whole damn thing. I remember tweeting like, "Yo, we're down 17 handles right now."
I know.
And we're back to we were back to break even off the open, man. Crazy wild time in the futures right now. Obviously has something to do with March end, moving stuff around maybe. There was a huge sell imbalance on the indexes going into the end of the month. So maybe all that has to do with each other, but clearly today we're still at 206 on the SPY, so nothing major here has happened yet.
Right. What do you think? I got a story behind this. I mean, it's a crazy story, but the UVXY guys, you watch the VIX and all that stuff. Yesterday during the day, for the first time that I've ever traded, the UVXY and the VIX, the products were halted.
Halted, right? So anybody who doesn't know, you traded these, these volatility indexes, the VIX and the UVXY got halted. I'm not sure what time. Kenny is the one that trades in and out of these things, and then I'm getting pinged from left and right, like ARCA, BATS having issues. There's a lot of glitchy things that were happening with the market yesterday. So I mean, I don't know what specifically was happening though with the volatility indexes.
Well, at first we thought it might just be a fat finger, and the market was. Well, what did we do? I don't even remember what the market did in the last couple of days. I know we had that big down day because I just watched the VIX, but the VIX has been so. Even though the market was getting hammered, the VIX wasn't doing anything.
Right.
But then suddenly, I walked out of the room. I came back. I saw prints going off on the UBXY in the 20s. That was up like 40%, and the market wasn't tanking. So I was like, this must be wrong. And then I went to go just to maybe throw an order out there and try to partake in this craziness, and it just gets halted.
Right.
So my first thought was, all right, fat finger trade, here we go, maybe flash crash, glitch. But the market wasn't reflecting what normally would happen. Normally you'll see the VIX going off, ripping like that, and the market would be tanking.
Right.
So there's nothing going on. So again, it sent a shudder of fear down my spine to the point where I sold all my positions. I didn't care what it was.
Did you really?
I'm out of the market. I'm going to cash right this second. It turned out to be a phenomenal trade because that was around 11:30.
Right.
Then the story evolves into what we saw in the after hours.
Right.
On the NQ futures and the futures themselves.
Right.
There's got to be a connection.
There had to be, right? I mean, if that event happened, right, and then you had that crazy sell imbalance on the indexes, there was like 200,000 of those quarterlies that were traded on the SPY. I think by the end of the day, it was like 270,000 on some close to the money SPY puts. And then obviously you see in the after hours we're down what? We actually dumped like 24 handles. We dumped 24 handles, then started hanging out around 17.16, minus 17.16, and then as soon as I woke up this morning I started laughing because we were down one handle. I'm like,
I couldn't believe it. Do you think there's any coincidence to what happened with me? The reason I was even watching it, normally I'm not watching anything, but I had some QQQ left over, and I was getting kind of nervous yesterday, so I wanted to watch how the market closed. So I came in here at around 7:55 just to watch the last couple of ticks of the after hours. So then, when the after hours market closes officially 8 o'clock, boom,
boom,
the NQ futures were down 3. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a couple of contracts on as a hedge against my Qs, and I enter the button. I hit enter. Next thing I know, it's down 15.
Right.
So I was like, oh man. I'm readjusting. By the time I readjusted, they were down 65 points.
Right. Right.
And bro, I haven't been this scared since the flash crash. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, now that whatever that VIX was foretold this move, this is some crazy shit. And I'm screaming at my kids, like screaming, like what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm like, put the fucking TV on. Put on CNBC. 10 wins! Every news station I'm screaming, what channel CNN? Go find it! I'm thinking nuclear war was just declared, or Iran, not only did we approve of their bomb, but they just tested one on our soil or something.
I mean, you know what? We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait here. And tomorrow, I forgot even tomorrow, it feels like a Friday. It felt like a Friday today. It really did feel like a Friday today because there's just dry action. Then all of a sudden, like last 10 minutes, we had some moves. So we have trading tomorrow, and then everybody, Friday's off. So we're gonna have to wait, next couple of days and see what happened. Maybe it was just that, just a glitch, and that's it. That's it. Right. Who knows, man? But moving on, man, we have the $2.4 million trade on ALTR. You obviously saw when the news came out about Intel possibly acquiring ALTR, and it just lit up trader screens everywhere. There was a lot of unusual options volume, especially on the Intel. More so than I believe the ALTR as soon as the deal was announced. So there was plenty of time. There was plenty of time on Intel and ALTR. I would say more so Intel than ALTR, but apparently this trader bought a lotto tickets, $36 lotto tickets for 35 cents, put 100 G's in them. I think that's pretty egregious, man. I mean, unless your account is at least I would say 5 million at that point.
Yeah.
Would you throw 100,000 on lotto tickets for this kind of thing? And you have to be looking at the scans and everything. Like this trader, to me, all the news are just saying he saw a tweet and then bam, that's why he traded it. But there's no way if you're not used to seeing those kind of tweets or seeing that activity because you subscribe to an option scanner and you generally hit these kinds of trades, there's no way you're going to be prepared to just dump 100K on a fucking lotto ticket, for something like that. And I mean, I had traders too who bought Intel crazy out of the money, and this was Friday. So way out of the money, lotto tickets for 4 cents, and they went to fucking 80 cents. You know what I mean? But these are lotto tickets. So, you're buying 100 contracts at 4 cents. You don't give a shit if you lose $400. You know what I mean? So you spend the $400 and say, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. And, this kid ended up making, I don't know, $8,000 on the damn thing.
Now, did it again, the only thing I saw was, I have a buddy, what's going on? My brother, I call him. This guy, he is a news guy, and I've gone away from news. I don't even ask why stocks are doing. I just trade to be crap. You know what I do.
Yep.
I stopped asking why, and it keeps you out of trouble, because the more you ask why, you're going to hem and haw about trading and whatnot. But well, now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the why, the Altera. My buddy had that trade. He's like, Altera, Intel for Altera, get some calls, and I was like, Altera, what is this, 1999?
I know.
And then next thing you know, I guess it was already up 3, and it wound up going up another 4, possibly
another 4
5.
on top of that. Yeah.
After it seemed like, and that's the other thing. I glanced at it. I was like, it's up 3 already. Want to make it? Who cares?
Exactly.
If anything, it's going to roll back over now that now that the rumor's out there, or the news of the rumor. And it kept going. So did they take over Altera, or is it still?
Honestly, I haven't even. It's still kind of in the works. It's still kind of in the works here, and Intel has already dragged off considerably here from the highs from previously. So $33, it hit a high, and now it's trading like $30.80. And more so than that, there is huge activity going on in the April 24th calls. So anybody who is looking at their options chain, go ahead and take a look at that. You'll see an ass ton of contracts that somebody is buying on the call side for the 33s. Like there was even 10,000 bought today. It's like 10,000 lots are being bought every single day, and this thing does absolutely nothing. So, I mean, I don't know. This is going to be interesting going forward, especially from the Intel side. There's a lot of people betting on, 33, 34, 35 in this thing pretty soon too. So keep a look on the options chain later on in April. That's where most people are positioned, and then wait for this tape to give you something, because so far it looks like absolute shit. The fade trade is still working. And that whole fade the news thing. So now we go back to news, right, Kenny? What's some of the biggest shit that we've had thus far, right? We had Janet Yellen taking the word patience, or putting the word patience in, or whatever the hell it was, and that was good for 30, 40 handles, and we faded all of that, right? And then we have the overnight China saying, we're going to go ahead and we'll be there for more stimulus if needed, right? We had a gap up and go. That was good for 20, 25 handles. We retraced that shit. Right, and then you have, and then you got Tesla, You got Elon Musk tweets that are coming out daily, that are popping the stock here, a good amount. What did he say the other day? Stock popped like 10 points off the news, and this was like he was like we have a big announcement, new product line or something like that. And then today we see a tweet go off for the new Model W. I believe it is, the new Model W, and that wasn't even good. People are just like, fuck it. Like, they only ripped it 50 cents, and they didn't give a shit about it, because, it's just dead action right now,
Well, I got that one I got that one quick. I got the Tesla is about to unveil something.
Yes.
Pretty quick, because I immediately retweeted that he's unveiling solar-powered jetpacks for dogs, buy all you can. Stock actually went up 4 more points after that. What I love it that this guy can get away with murder. He told us when to buy his stock in the 40s and 50s.
Yep.
He told us that we should be worried about the stock when it was over 200.
Yep.
He pre-announces earnings and nobody seems to care. He manipulates his own stock, but I guess because the stock's done well by most people, we just let him keep on doing it. But the thing about Tesla, the reason anytime anybody wants to short that stock, I mean, now if it breaks down again under that 185, we might see 177 again. Who knows?
Right.
But the thing about that stock is what he tweeted kind of solidifies my whole thesis on that stock. is that eventually he's going to put out something that's not car related,
Right.
and you're going to own it because it's a Tesla brand. So you're going to own the company. So
Eventually.
when he does come out with the solar powered, something, or he just invents something new and he puts it under the Tesla brand, next thing you know, maybe he's got $1 billion product up his sleeve, and you're going to own that too. That's why you're buying Elon Musk more so than you're buying Tesla.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then on Twitter, it's like saying you're going to short Apple. You get all this hate mail. You get all this hate mail the day after, that same time that you send the tweet. It's like, oh my God, how could you ever do such a thing? And, you get the same thing from Tesla. There's so many people that are legit like in love with Elon Musk and who he is as a character and what he's doing out here. But at the same time, this is a fucking car company right here. This is a car company, this is a car company that was valued at what, $26 here, or went all the way to $270. So we're just talking about some necessary shaving, similar to the GoPro, similar to all this kind of other stuff. Obviously, equating it to GoPro is a little bit of a stretch, but yeah, we got a question here coming on Twitter at @Pax_limited. Rebound in gold or silver. Could there be some fear buying? I no longer like that idea of okay, there's some fear out here, let's go ahead and buy gold. Like, you need another reason now. You know what I mean? Like 2-3 years ago, fine, maybe that would have worked. But now, there's no longer flock to gold and silver because you're afraid of what's going to happen in the global economy. The trade is somewhere else. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's somewhere else. Maybe it's maybe it's bonds, maybe it's some consumer discretionary, the staples type of environment. And by the way, on a day like today where, a lot of things were fading off, people were hiding in the banks. So there's some people now that are starting to bid up some of these financials, some of these bigger financials. Like if you look at Goldman Sachs, it's up like 2% today on a rando day where, there was just a ridiculous bid in this thing for the whole fucking day.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder. So even if this market does come off, are people going to use this sector now to start just saying, all right, let me just go ahead and own some of these. I'll take the money out of some of this other shit and go ahead and buy some of these banks. So, as far as the gold and silver, what do you think? What do you think, man? Do you even mess with GLD and the ETFs here?
Dear God, I just started messing with the JNUG and the JDST. These are the minor triple leverage ETFs. So when one's weak, the other one, I mean, these are moving in 20% increments on every other day. JDST, JUG. They follow the JDX, which is the mining section.
Yep.
As far as the gold for safety, this is not 1976 anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That trade is so done. And my opinion on gold, and I'm sticking to it, is that it broke out from 880 and then became a fad. And it ran close to 2,000. Everybody wanted to buy my gold. You had it at the kiosks. And when they want to buy something from you in the mall at a kiosk, that's a fad. It's got to be over. Everybody wanted to buy my gold. I think that gold is probably going to eventually break down, roll back over, and become that dead commodity that nobody cares about until the next major catastrophe where we'll actually think that gold would be a safe haven again.
Right.
I'm not a fan of owning the GLD. I like silver coins, but I still wouldn't buy SLV. And the flight to safety trade, I think, it doesn't exist anymore like it used to.
Right. We got another question here. The JCPenney Lotto play. So on March 30th, and in the chat room too, we got Jesus out here calling out a lot of unusual options, order flow, and things like that. There was a giant buyer for $8 calls, I believe it was. Yeah, April $8 calls, and they were going for pennies, man. They were going for pennies, and now this name is at $9.
Wow.
And I think the news on it too. I think there was some news on it. Not sure. But this thing ripped. This thing absolutely ripped. Who the fuck shops at JCPenney? Let's be serious here. I would only go to JCPenney if I'm buying a no-name ass brand for, clothes for my daughter. And she doesn't even want me. Exactly. She doesn't even want me to shop there. She wants to go to Justice. All the little girls, they want to go to Justice. I got my Justice shirt. I got my Justice pants.
Dude, if they're not, if they're public, we're buying. If that
We're
IPO,
buying, yes, 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 absolutely. That's the new fad, like white women in UGG boots, man. That's the new shit right there. I will buy justice with both goddamn hands. There was a lot of people in my chat room that caught this move, this JCP. Obviously not the full extent, but obviously a pretty wild move. Very profitable here on that April strike, that 4-cent call. I think it busted out to, I don't know, 50 cents plus, so super profitable trade for a lot of people that traded it. Let's talk GoDaddy IPO here. What do you think of this GoDaddy IPO? Do you hate it as much as I do? I fucking hate this company.
Once again, this is not 1999. Who the hell
this.
cares about a web provider? Really? GoDaddy going public? Who cares?
Yeah, they got a good valuation too. I think it was upwards of $3 billion, somewhere around $3 billion, man. So they priced, I think, at the high end of the whatever the IPO price was.
Right.
And she did absolutely nothing today. But honestly, I want to short. For principle, I want to short the piss out of this thing. There is nothing good about this company. They've never made any fucking money. Hosting is way too expensive through these guys. It's like it's like that shitty product, but everybody knows about this product only to go and get a website built or whatever. Like buying domains now on GoDaddy is super expensive.
It is.
Like it used to be, dude. It used to be so cheap, man. It used to be so cheap. It used to be bucks, dollars, cents.
Right.
To buy a fucking domain, man. So now the hosting services and all that kind of stuff on GoDaddy are ridiculously priced. So it's one of the worst hosting services that you can use if you're trying to set up a new website. And there's so many smaller shops that can do better email services, better hosting, and they all integrate with other platforms. Like if you're using WordPress or you're using Joomla, which nobody really uses anymore, the Squarespace and all that kind of stuff. All these companies do that, but GoDaddy again was the biggest one, and they have the marketing, right? And it's garbage. To me, it's horrible. Would I short it? I'm gonna wait until the options come out, and then. Yeah. Maybe it'll be like the VIX trade, right? It'll be like those bullshit ETFs that just roll out new shares, right? So you just sit there and wait for pops and just short the shit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at Shake Shack since the first day. Where is that now?
Shake Shack is doing okay. Shake Shack is doing okay.
$50. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if GoDaddy's good or bad. I host one of my websites there, but I don't know what's good or what's bad. I know I pay. You know what they get you now? That you can't just get a domain name. They need you. You have to buy the certification, then you have to buy the protection, and that's all this stuff. And then if you try to cancel it, holy cow! I had to fill out a 3-page brochure.
Yes.
To cancel my protected website. Well, yes. Thanks for this protection, Mr. Glick. I'm like, it's me. I had to send them pictures of I had to give a passport, a blood sample. I was like, just cancel it. I don't give a shit. I bought like 40 different stupid names, and I was like, I don't need any of these anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think they came in at a great time. They came in at a great time where, again, there was this explosive move in the internet space. Everybody wanted to have a website. Everybody wanted to, and then not only did you have like a blog, but then all of a sudden, like everybody's taking payments. So everybody needs a secured website. Everybody needs integration with all these other third-party things. And then as soon as that big data shit kicked off, everybody wants analytics. Everybody wants so many other systems tied to their hosting service or their website that, like, you really need a dope hosting service or somebody to walk you through all this stuff. Otherwise, there's no way to figure it out for yourself. So you got to hire a network guy. You got to hire somebody to manage all these third-party integrations as well as your hosting and things like that. So they came in at a great time. But again, like, I think this company is the biggest piece of shit company ever. This was right. I would put this right up there with all those Chinese ding-dong IPOs that came out, like back in 2007 or whatever. You remember when all those, like, it was like a new Chinese IPO?
Yeah. Do you remember how Cena? What happened to that company? That was the most relevant one, and now it is irrelevant. And it really has come down to their. I mean. I forgot there was a couple that actually did succeed. I think one of the game companies, but the Yoku sucked. The Bang, the Cena. How does Sohu? Is Sohu still around there?
Sohu is still there, still there. The Kihu, I think, was one. Sohu, like, is still pretty okay. And then you have the Baidus of the world, but again, like you're right, you're absolutely right. There was a sort of glory time for a lot of these names. Baidu to me is still pretty strong out there. But
Chinese currency.
yeah, and beyond that, and then you have this Alibaba, which they can't really get their shit together here. They had this, everybody was all up in arms as soon as what did they have? Not the Black Friday for Amazon, but they had whatever they have. What the hell did they have?
Oh,
And
that one day where they do $60 trillion in revenue, right?
Yeah. So this thing ripped, to 120. They got everybody long this thing. This thing was like going to be the new Apple, the new Amazon, and everybody was so bullish. And now it's back below its IPO price. Like everybody got smoked on this thing.
I'm amazed how they got it to that exact. Because when it broke the 90 and 95, we said, all right, this thing's probably going to get to 120. I mean, it hit basically 119.50, and that was it. And then it was like, what I find bizarre about the whole Alibaba thing, again, I was always a negative on the whole concept of Alibaba even being on our market.
Right.
But there's I'm sorry. The only thing I knew about Alibaba was that they sell fake products.
Right. And then every single news report after was like, dude, this shit is fake shit,
Right.
and it's got some bad press as well. And then it was like there was a period like Jack Ma had like a 6-month period where he was like on CNBC. He was on the floor of CNBC like every single day. They had pictures of him all over the place, like yes, rah rah Alibaba.
My God.
We're the best. And he looks like. Have you ever seen Akira, that Japanime movie?
No.
Dude, he looks like this guy from.
He looks like a burn victim to me.
He looks like If anybody watches, if anybody has seen Akira, as the white folks would say, Tetsuo. He looks like He looks exactly like Tetsuo on that show. But anyways, dude, let's cap it off with. Oh, it's China's Singles Day. Singles Day. That was the name of it. We have this. The Funky Trader here on Twitter hooked this up. We got another question here. So if GoDaddy can IPO, should I expect Oregon Trail to break off from MECC and become its own stock soon? Did you play? See, these kids, they don't even know what the Oregon Trail is, bro. They don't know what that shit is. You played it, right?
What? No.
Okay, you never played it?
Is this a game or a stock?
Dude, it was a fucking game, but say, you know what? You're in your 40s, so maybe there was like a generation here that it just, like, you guys didn't have it. You didn't have it. So when we were growing up, like, everybody played this computer game, this Oregon Trail shit.
Dude, MU. What?
Micron.
Yeah, I'm short.
Micron.
Well, I'm doing two things at once here. Again, this is one of those things. This is what I talk about, guys. I don't usually trade aftermarket, but anytime stock that sort of, it was kind of gapped up on that earnings report and rolls over and goes negative.
Yep.
Just hit it.
Hit it. Are you trading it right now?
Just put on 100, just goofing around.
I love that.
Dollars.
All right, so let's close it out here. Let's give everybody a little bit of sentiment here on tomorrow's trading as well as the next week. Do you feel like we're still in a pretty weak environment? Do you feel like we got a good chance of holding indexes right here and then maybe starting to float some dip buys out there? Or do you think do we have another flush here? Do we have another flush? Me personally, I mean, I've been a bear even through this whole move to all-time highs. Like, I have been short the piss out of Tesla. She's been squeezing me left and right, whenever she can. And it's difficult. It's still difficult to pull off a short. Your timing's got to be spot on, and you gotta come in and short those spikes. You gotta come in and fade those spikes. Like, the fade trade has been working, but if you are a little bit late to that party, your puts are not going to appreciate in value. So it's a very tough environment right now.
It is.
What do you think? What do you think, bro? What do you think?
Well, it's tough because you're not getting the follow through, so you have to take a shot.
Right.
You have to take the contrary shot. You can't go with momentum when something's breaking down because maybe it'll work the next day, but generally if you give it more than one more day, it rebounds and you've wasted all that money.
Right.
I still think we might. Again, I need now this NQ level 52.59 to be tested. I want that reaction low, the shit my pants lows from yesterday at 9:30.
Yes,
I want
yes.
that to be tested so I could feel,
So you can
comfortable.
feel comfortable going long. Yeah, I agree. I
Right,
agree
right.
100%. I agree 100%.
But the UVXY and the VIX telling me that there's still nothing to fear. And until the VIX starts to spike,
Yeah.
again, I'm still selling calls on the UVXY. As long as I have money, I sell a couple of calls every day. All of these are going to expire worthless. The 200s, I shorted 85s, 65s, 55s. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know why these things have bids. But
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, would you consider, like, if you were super levered, let's say you have, usually most broker dealers, like the bigger shops out there or whatever, as soon as you pass 5 mil, then they'll give you unlimited leverage. They don't give a fuck what you do.
right.
Would you switch to a predominantly selling strategy if you had that unlimited leverage? Would you consider that? Would you go like 90% just sitting there just writing shit? You don't even have to watch this stuff, right? Just put some kind of stop, some kind of hedge, and that's it. You're not even looking at the markets anymore. Would you do that? Would you do that? Could you see yourself doing that? I keep imagining that this is like where I'm gonna be 10 years from now. I'm just doing shit like that.
Right. I loved selling, puts when the market was getting its ass kicked because, you look out 6 months down the road in some of these stocks. I remember what I sold Hartford Financial, and I was looking at
What is that? HF? Was that HF?
HIG, and there was a
HIG.
point where
HIG. I remember this.
chance of they were saying they were going to go out of business next.
Yes.
I was
yes.
out. I went out a year, and I sold $5 puts for $250.
Oh my God! And
I was like, all right, if I own 5,000 shares at $250, when it goes to zero, it's gonna suck. But I'm thinking, I'm even calling the company. I'm like, how much cash you got? My parents have mutual funds with life insurance. I was like, they're not going out of business. The $5 puts for the stock was at $6, I think, and the $5 puts were $250 going out like 6 months.
Right.
Those were the days when selling puts was good. Now you're not getting enough premium to sell puts.
Yeah.
But I was trying to do some straddle, short straddle. I was selling the put and selling the call. Hopefully the stock stays in the middle.
Right.
But it's always that one side that gets you.
Yep.
Just when you think the market's going to go sideways for an extended period of time, the strategy looks good on paper, and then next thing you know, we break down or we break out. So,
So yeah, I mean, what did you say? My bad.
I've just been, I've been piecing out of my positions the last couple of days. I cleared out a whole bunch of shit. Plus, I'm going away. Nothing. Oh, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, whenever I go on vacation, there is a market event. Not only is there a market event, there's a black swan event. Volcanoes, tsunamis, nuclear attacks. Trust me, next 10 days.
Well, you ain't going away on vacation. You're going to fucking rehab. That's what you're doing because you took too much coke, bro.
Right. Vacation rehab.
You blew a whole damn onion yourself, man. No, what are you gonna do? Shit. All right, guys.
We didn't mention one thing that we forgot.
What do you got?
The UWTI and the oil, USO.
Oh yeah. Yo, I totally stopped even watching this shit. Like I stopped watching oil. I feel like it's boring right now. I feel like they're gonna just coast for like 3 months and then do something. I don't know.
Oh my God, no! What I've been playing contrary to CNBC. Anytime they have an analyst on there, an anal heist, and he gives his commentary. And then, this last guy I saw was talking about how he's expecting another big leg down. And I was like, I guess I'll buy today. So far, I'm 3 for 3. Just anytime I hear an analyst talking about $20 oil, the next day it goes up. It's crazy.
Yep.
So, again, I didn't pick the bottom, but when USO went green the other day, I picked it up, and so far so good. I'm in, from 1602, which is
nice.
Pretty, yeah.
Nice.
And I still have it. I was thinking about selling calls against it, but whatever. I don't have enough.
Yeah, now you get every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's coming out there posting, posting price targets, $20 price targets, $50 price targets. You got all over the place. Most people are pigeon to, we need another washout. You need another washout here before prices can come up. And they cite all the fundamental stuff like everybody is sitting on supply and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to move it at these prices. So.
Right.
It's like, all right, let's straighten it out.
I also read, there's a couple of huge production guys out there that are taking rigs offline. And you just can't take a rig offline and say, I'll put it back online. It takes you apparently 6 months to
no shit.
get it going again.
Oh shit,
You know?
the old Bruce Willis and Armageddon type shit, right? Right.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
frozen
yeah.
shit.
Just like Star Trek, they couldn't start the engines again. I cannot change the laws of physics. I've been watching.
All right.
I've been watching. Though. I love. By the way, MU's about to break down again here. Wow.
You still got your two. You still got your
No,
own shares.
I was just goofing around. I shorted for just 50 cents or 42 cents.
All right, everybody. We will see you guys back next week. We'll probably cancel this Friday's episode. We might do this Friday's episode, but Kenny is going to be in rehab, and you know his life is already in shambles after the 8 ball of coke and everything. So we're gonna leave him alone until next week. Happy April Fools, everybody. Go prank the shit out of somebody, man. The market's closed. Do something with yourselves, man.
All right, man. Always a pleasure talking to you. You guys out there, good luck. Be safe. And I'm going to start stopping in the chat room a little bit more often. I got to get
no doubt.
get my scheduling going. All right, y'all.
Later.
I'll see you. Speak to you for Monday.
No doubt.